Welcome, fellow carnivores. I did not see this coming. My allergies were gone, and I quit coffee. These were some major milestones in my journey up to the end of year 2. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chad. I've been doing this carnivore diet for over 3.5 years. Lost over 100 pounds, had numerous life-changing benefits to my health and well-being, and I really hope you can experience them as well. Let's go. Now, I experienced a plateau at 1.5 years, where my outwardly appearance had not changed since the first of the year. My weight remained steady at 178 pounds, occasionally varying by maybe only a pound or two, and it was really interesting just how stable it was. However, I continued to improve internally in many ways. Joint pains disappeared, kept getting better. Getting up was easier. My sleep improved. My overall tone of just how my body and my muscles had kept improving all the time. And this was despite not working out intentionally. It was just through daily activities. I was lucky to have very little loose skin. And I'm not sure if that was doing OMAD or taking extra collagen, even though I've heard it's a waste and don't ever take the stuff in the powder, but I still decided to. Or I'm just lucky and have good genes. I say this because I know many worry about this, but in my opinion, the health you have now is way better than some loose skin. And depending on how much you have, I do think most of us over about 45 are not so concerned about it. Over the 3.5 years, mine has slowly been tightening up and appearing less and less. Now, I do know some have had surgery to remove excess skin, but I think that's something that you would want to tackle like 5 years out and then decide. Life is great after year 1 into year 2. I can work in the garden, ride my bike with no issues. Recovery is excellent, as I'm sure many of you are now experiencing. As an example, like trimming palm trees, I can literally get up the next day and continue and not be destroyed for a week. Now, the one thing that was a huge game changer again was my allergies. They're about 98% gone. These days, if I do get them, again, riding my bike, trimming palm trees, things like that, I can literally have a shower and they're gone. I don't have them carrying through the next days. Now, my allergies were pretty bad. It's not just itchy eyes and stuffy runny nose. I remember being 27, having anaphylactic shock, and having to rush in and get adrenaline shots. And then I thought, wow, this really is a game changer. I've always had allergies. Even when I was in super shape in my 20s, 30s, this was the first year of my life that I had no allergies. Again, life-changing, all from the carnivore diet. I think I still made some mistakes, even after this first year. I was still consuming way too much dairy with my cheese, cream, including my daily intake of 3 triple shot espressos. And I did not kick these carnivore treats in the first 6 months. Things like pork rind, sour cream, that kind of stuff. But I did make a conscious effort to stop them, and I succeeded. The technique that worked for me, might work for you, or you might just have to find your own, was gradually increasing the time I allowed myself to have them. So when I had some pork rinds, for example, I waited 2 months to have them again, then 3, then 4, and basically they were gone. Now, I think the danger of these snacks are they're easy to binge on. You can take the bag to the couch, watch your favorite TV show, and that bag is gone. Now, if you truly do not want to give them up, that's fine. Just realize you might not get as good of results. You might get a few more stalls, and you might not feel quite as good as I feel you could, because you're just filling up with this empty stuff that you cannot live on. You cannot live on pork rinds. You can on meat. So when you eat when you're hungry, and eat till you're truly satiated, you shouldn't be needing these treats. It's your journey. Do what makes you happy. The other trick that might work is allow yourself to have them, say, twice a year. Say on your birthday, and pick another favorite holiday. For me, that was Christmas. So I might indulge in some fun deli meat like prosciutto or some really good salami, maybe some cheese. And what's interesting is throughout the year when I go past these in the store, I have no desire to pick them up. I can just kind of think, oh, my birthday's coming, I'll enjoy them then. Don't let them get out of hand. If you find yourself putting them in the cart thinking, oh, well, next week is a good, just say no. put them back, know that you can have them twice a year, get healthy, get clean, and then maybe later on in life, you might have enough control where you could have them a few more times a year. Now, if you're enjoying this, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like button, the notification bell so we can get this out to others. I allow myself a small treat outside the carnivore diet 2 times a year. In my opinion, it's not going to hurt you. Of course, make sure it won't trip you up and you won't go binging on something. If that's the case, just skip this. Now for me, I have a tiny slice, about 2 bites of my kid's birthday cake. It's part of sharing their birthday. My daughter did make one from scratch this last year, and it was more like this cream mascarpone kind of topping, and it was actually okay. Unlike the flavor of store ones, which I now find quite horrible. But I have no desire other than a bite or two. I don't feel like, oh, I'm going to need a whole slice of it. And I think that's a good marker for yourself. If you're all of a sudden thinking, well, maybe a whole piece, maybe just back off, say no thanks. Wait till next year. You might be in that position where a bite or two is all you need. One funny thing about outside treats, I was curious about my old favorite, Swedish fish. Back before I was carnivore, I loved those things. A huge bag. And I'd tell myself, oh, I got this under control. I'll just have a couple. And then I think, oh, just 2 more. Oh, just 4 more. Oh, 3. Oh, 4. Okay, well, just 2. And I think some of you might have had this problem too, be it Swedish fish or chocolate chips. Before you know it, that bag is half gone. And this brings me to Halloween of that first year. My kids had Swedish fish, and I thought, I wonder what these are going to be like. Now, I knew I was in enough control that it would not be an issue. So I took one of those little guys and bit his head off, and wow, was it sweet. It was just this weird, insane sweet, and not like I remember it, not nearly as good. So quickly went in the garbage. The second year, once again, Halloween rolls around. This time I could taste the chemicals and realize just how horridly synthetic it was. And once again, in the garbage. Brings me to my third year. Halloween rolls around. And this time, didn't even care to try it. And that's a great feeling, to truly know it's done, it's gone. As year 2 concluded, I had my biggest vice to conquer, coffee. I was ready for potential failure, as I'd tried to quit multiple times before, and we know how that goes. Headaches, withdrawals, I want this so bad. And this time, I was bracing, because we all know what happens when you try to quit coffee. But surprisingly, that morning, there was no headache. There was no desire for coffee. It was so strange. There was nothing. I was almost thinking something's wrong. This can't be. And I really braced for the next day thinking, boy, I'm going to get double hit. And the following days, nothing. And that was it. Coffee was done. And I'm still blown away at how I had none of those withdrawal symptoms I had every other time. And I do think that's just down to carnivore. It just healed me enough. And I've heard Dr. Chafee mention long-term carnivore and something about cells healing over time. And I'd love to ask him his view about it sometime. And what I found interesting is every other time I stopped coffee, I never noticed anything getting better. But this time, very quickly, I noticed I could easily fall asleep, and my energy levels through the day were way more consistent. Honestly, before this, I thought, impossible, how can it get better? I can easily jump out of bed when my alarm goes off with no issues, no joint pain, etc. Well, now I'm waking up with the sun and not needing an alarm clock. And that natural awakening is so superior to any alarm clock. I find this alertness and calm you have without being jolted by the alarm clock. It's something you just have to experience. And this incredible feeling is why I think folks should try to quit at some point and just see what happens and try again every year for a few years. Because I think, like me, it took till 2 years to have this change. You might find it in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but it's worth trying and knowing for sure because it puts you on a whole new level. Now, there are many more surprises that keep happening over my 3.5 years, and I'm going to cover the rest of those in another video about 3 years and beyond. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please hit that bell and notification sub if you haven't, and leave a comment on what you would like to hear about on this channel, and share your journey below. I'd really appreciate it. Stay carnivorous, my friends, and ahoy ho. You might like this video on Lewis and Clark and what meat they craved. Check it out.